Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is called What You Don't Want to Hear, but What You Do Need to Know, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get into it today. And as I was shuffling your guys' cards, there is a song that came to me and I just wanna share that with you before I start the reading. It's a song called Elastic Heart by Sia, the artist Sia, okay? And the lyrics go, "You did not break me. I'm still fighting for peace. I've got an elastic heart," and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, for those of you, it's a beautiful song. But anyway, for those of you that are particularly drawn to that song, or you heard it recently, or a friend told you about it, I just have to tell you because it was rolling through my mind as I was shuffling out your cards, okay? So let's go ahead and look at all the different piles. We have pile number 1, which is the purple tea light, pile number 2, which is the red tea light, and pile number 3, which is the yellow tea light. So you can go directly to the timestamps in the description box below and click on the link for your pile, okay? And you're also free to watch more than one pile if that suits your fancy today. I hope everybody has made it through this full moon in Gemini. It was a really nasty full moon. And all I'm gonna say is check in on your Gemini friends and make sure they are still okay. Also, basically check in on all your mutable sign friends. Check out on your Geminis, on your Virgos, on your Pisces, on your Sagittarius friends, and ask them, hey, how are you doing? Because that was a really, really rough full moon, okay? That moon was in a conjunction, that full moon was in a conjunction with Mars, and it was all squaring Neptune. It's a big situation, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Today, let's start with pile number 1. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the purple tea light, and today's reading is called What You Don't Want to Hear, but You Do Need to Know, okay? So we're gonna break it down with the honesty during this wonderful Sagittarius season that we are currently in. Let's go ahead and get into it, okay? We're gonna get into it, pile number 1, and find out what you need to hear, but you don't necessarily want to, okay? So let's go ahead and do it. Spirit just gave me Arnold Schwarzenegger, so maybe some of you were talking about him or his movies, or maybe some of you are really into like bodybuilders or into dudes that hit the gym, or you've been hitting the gym recently, okay? Anyway, pile number 1, let's see if I get any other. Okay, so I'm seeing a red bow, which is interesting. I'm seeing a little box with a small box. It looks like it could be a ring or jewelry it's like a gold box with a red bow on it, okay? So for those of you that have gotten a special gift like that at one point, or if you're getting someone a special gift, maybe pile number 1, okay? And okay, for those of you who are parents here, I am getting an energy of getting your child like something more grown up or something more adult-like, or getting them something that's, you know, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more expensive, like, you know, a nice pair of earrings or a nice watch or something like that, okay? And some of you may also be contemplating getting something like that for your parents, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. Pile number 1, let's see. What do you, or maybe you want to get that. Maybe you're like, I want to get the nice watch and the earrings or the ring. All right, so let's go ahead and get into pile number 1. What you don't want to hear, but you need to know, okay? Somebody does spoil someone though, or wants to spoil someone, I feel like, okay, is wanting to spoil someone. Let's go ahead and get into it. What you don't want to hear, but need to know. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Okay, there it is. 7 of Swords, okay. spicy, pile number one. Okay, and you know, you've been bouncing back and forth on, I think you guys have been trying to decide, should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this or should I do that? Okay, and maybe you're a little bit afraid of hurting someone's feelings or doing the wrong thing as a result. But let's go ahead and see what you don't want to hear but you need to know. We have Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands, and Three of Pentacles. Okay, so we have 3-3 here. So we could have somebody here who's 33 or around the age of 33. All right, and you know, it's interesting with the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles in the tarot represents earth of earth. It's the earthy part of earth, so it's the earthiest you can get. And you know, the Page of Pentacles has the ability to really kind of commit to something and follow through on something, okay? And talk about like the shiny gift or the shiny thing, somebody working really hard for something here with the Three of Pentacles, okay? And I feel like pile number one, you're one of those people that when you put your effort into something, you don't really want to change course, okay? And the thing is, you may need to, though, you may need to look at another option here, or you may need to change course. Let's see what else we have on for you, pile number one. We have the fourth house and roots, okay? That's definitely earth of earth type of energy. Also, the fourth house has to do with where you live or where you spend most of your time, okay? And you know, feeling comfortable where that is at. The Three of Wands is more, let me see, the Three of Wands really wants to know what else a person could get out of a situation, okay? So I do think that there is a little bit of a sneaky side to you, pile number one, where, you know, you are committed to your goals, you're committed to trying to help other people or trying to work through problems or work through issues. But there may be a part of you that, you know, really wants to try something else or do something different. We have consciousness here, okay? So conscious, are you conscious of the side of you that is, you know, maybe with the Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck wanting something different here, okay? And I think with the Three of Wands and consciousness, you're waking up to this, all right? And there may be people that have come to really rely on you, and some of you may be great helpers, particularly in the workplace or around your home. You may be very good, and like I mentioned in the channeled messages, like spoiling someone or giving a lot in a situation, okay? And you know, with the Three of Wands, we become conscious of the need to kind of act and to do something and to be always the one that is kind of like, you know, carrying the weight or carrying the responsibility in the situation. The Three of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn, and it is the Lord of material works in the tarot. So, you know, work and commitment and getting things done and taking the lead on things, particularly with the Three of Wands, is important, okay? But I feel like maybe sometimes you guys do that so you get your way, or so, because with the Three of Wands here, I think some of you are becoming conscious of, well, if I do this, then I'm in control and I get my way, okay? And we have quarrelsome here. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Okay? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? Okay, so some of you here, quarrelsome. Does this action, Three of Wands, fulfill a need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Three of Pentacles, Mars in Capricorn. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? Okay, so let's see what else. So maybe some of you have been very quarrelsome lately, or you've been feeling agitated or feeling like you may want to pull the rug out from underneath something with the Seven of Swords here. Okay, and I feel like you guys are, like I said, Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands, single-minded, purposeful, conscious, you know, Three of Pentacles, building on success. The fourth house in astrology, okay, has to do with our home. It has to do with our foundation and how we're setting ourselves up in life, okay? But I think underneath it, there may be a part of you that with these two sevens, with the Seven of Swords and Seven of Cups, is like, well, it's just easier to do it this way because then I don't have to like argue with other people, then I don't have to justify what I really want, then I don't have to kind of get into anything, then everything just stays really clean, okay? Let's see what else here. We have talking, interested, conversing more, awaiting messages, awaiting a text, a call, an email, okay? So we have talking here, talking. We also have love call. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. Okay, so I also feel like, you know, the Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands, and Three of Pentacles, I mean, isn't necessarily screaming, screaming love at me, pile number one. And I feel some of you have been, you know, keeping really busy and staying really focused on your goals and staying really close to what it is that you want, okay? And if you look at it here she is like working on the computer, looking things up online, okay? And some of you just may be kind of like talking to other people or talking to other love interests to kind of keep your mind occupied or to keep yourself busy. I also feel some of you here could be like throwing everything that you have into your work, into your plans, into your, you know, into what you're doing, because you don't want a person to feel like, you know, like you're waiting on them to call, okay? And it says here, love call. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Okay? So I think, you know, you guys are like, well, I'm just going to keep myself busy and, you know, take care of the homestead and take care of, you know, making myself comfortable in life and working towards the things that I want, okay? But I also feel like some of you are interested in talking to someone further or talking to someone further, pile number one, but at the same time, you may be kind of ignoring this person and, you know, keeping yourself distant from this person, using your work or being busy or pursuing other things as an excuse. Because I feel like some of you here with this Three of Wands, you want to present more of a moving target to this person, okay? So let's see what else we have here. We have Eternal Servitor, the Ancient Wanderer, hope, incompleteness, yearning. Okay, so Eternal Servitor. So that means like and look at this. This looks like the Page of Pentacles. This looks like, you know, it's so interesting because you have these flames, these three flames burning in the background, like the Three of Wands, and then you have the figure holding the pentacle. So it's a repeat of the Page of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, okay? And I feel like some of you, you're like very committed to something, or you're very committed to seeing something grow. At least it appears that way. But I feel like there's something else that you want because you feel like there's something that's incomplete in your life, or something that you're really yearning for, or something that you really want that's super fiery and passionate that you'd really like to go after, but you're trying to stay focused on what's in front of you and you're trying to do what's in front of you. Also with Eternal Servitor, like I said, some of you may be like spoiling people in your life, or like doing everything, or trying to take care of everything, while other people are just, while other people are just taking the piss, as the Brits would say, you know, and just while other people are just kind of, not really not really super committed to things, okay? So let's see what else here. We have the Ancient Wanderer too. So some of you may want to go wander somewhere else, and you may not want to stay at home, and you may not want to be doing the things that you're doing. You may feel like doing something else with the Three of Wands. We have Downcast Pride. Yeah, so this is, I knew this card was going to come up, and I feel like, you can see the roots coming down here. And sometimes, with the Page of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, that is an energy of pride. That is an energy of I'm proud of what I'm doing, and I'm moving forward, and I'm laying the groundwork for the things that I want to do in the future. Okay. But there still is something here where you guys are feeling not appreciated, or you're feeling ignored, or you're feeling like somebody isn't treating you the way that you should be treated. However, some of you may be kind of just ignoring it or covering it up, okay? We have self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Yeah, and I love that, because the Page of Pentacles and the Three of Wands is very much, and the Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands and Page of Pentacles are definitely talking about self-esteem to get the job done. It's like pile number one is the one for the job, or pile number one is the one that can get things done here. Okay, but I feel like with this Downcast Pride, some of you may be feeling like you're not good enough, or feeling like, you can do what you're doing now really well, but if you tried to break out of that or do something differently, then you wouldn't be good at it, and you would feel less than, okay? So we have self-esteem here and Downcast Pride. So as much as you guys are, very, I think you appear to others as being very, very confident. I do feel like sometimes pile number one, like your self-esteem is hurt. Like sometimes you may feel that situations are infringing, like situations are hurting you or making you feel bad, but you don't want to admit it to a certain person or to certain people. Okay, and you may not want to admit that what someone said or what someone did has been upsetting you, because it's like, okay, that's wounding my pride, right? I don't want to go and talk to that person again. We have this talking here. I don't want to go and talk to this person again. I don't really want to call this person again with love call. I don't really want to tell this person that I'm thinking of them again. I really don't want to do that. And I feel like because this person doesn't really commit to me, or they're not really there for me, I don't really want to be the one to do that. And I don't blame you, pile number one. I don't blame you. So I feel like some of you are saying, well, I'm busy, or I have a lot of things going on. But underneath it, I also feel like some of you may be actually upset with someone because they haven't been appreciating you, or because they haven't reached out to you, or because they haven't done what they should be doing, And of course, it's not anybody else's job to validate your self-esteem. Pile number one, your self-esteem should definitely be come from within. And it's nice to have people tell us that, oh, you did a good job, or oh, this is great, or oh, you really know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, it's really up to ourselves to validate our own self-esteem. And I feel like maybe some of you have been talking to people online, or talking to different people online as a way to, if you're waiting for someone else to call you, or you're waiting for someone else to come around, but you're talking to someone else, or talking to other people online dating, or online flirting, or whatever you want to call it, pile number one, because it kind of boosts your self-esteem, because it makes you feel better, okay? And I think some of you have been a little bit salty with this downcast pride because what you were hoping for, or because what you really wanted from someone, I feel like really didn't manifest like you wanted it to. And some of you here with the Queen of Wands and the Five of Swords may be feeling very disrespected, but with the Nine of Wands are acting like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. Like everything's fine. While, you know, I'll just go for something else then. Okay. But you're still kind of wondering what's up with this person or what's up with this situation. Okay. And I feel like some of you were really hoping for and yearning for this situation to turn out differently, or you were really, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, hoping or yearning for a certain outcome, or like really wanting something and really working hard at something. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like if we base our self-esteem around that, or we kind of like lie to ourselves and say, oh no, like I'm fine, I'm good. And then, you know, there's a fine line in all of that. And I feel like becoming conscious of why you're doing the things that you're doing with this Three of Wands here, and what it is that you're trying to work towards with the Three of Pentacles, becoming really conscious of that, okay? And some of you here also could have hoped that if you put all your energy and your attention and your efforts on your work, that, you know, somebody's going to acknowledge you, or somebody's going to, like, you know, reach out to you or give you accolades or tell you, you know, what a good job you did. But I just feel like for some of you, it hasn't really happened, and it's been affecting your self-esteem a little bit, okay? And I understand that, pile number one. I'm not trying to be hard on you here. I just think that, you know, like with the self-esteem, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Like you definitely do, pile number one. And, you know, that may be part of the problem sometimes, is that you do possess a lot of gifts, and you do have a way of, you know, making others feel comfortable, or you do have a way of, you know, showing up and doing the work, okay? But I also feel like you were hoping that someone would do that too with you, and it's like, okay, they're not really showing up like you want them to, all right? And we have here sexuality. So this is a big thing too. A lot of you here could be working, busy, talking, okay, busy with work, you know, trying to get, you know, needs met elsewhere outside of the whole sexuality aspect, okay? But I also talked about some of you online talking to different people, or chatting with different people in your DMs, or talking to people on Instagram, wherever it is that you do, like talking to people or reaching out to people. And, you know, as a way to kind of, like, if you're feeling shitty about yourself, sometimes it's nice to kind of get yourself validated again. But at the same time, like, you know, we can sometimes make a bad habit out of using our sexuality to make us feel more powerful, okay? And it says, does this action fulfill an emotional need for you with the sexuality? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop, okay? So some of you may realize that there is something going on with this talking and love calls. Some of you guys may be chatting to different people or talking to different people, okay? But I think it's more important for you to feel like grounded and at home within yourself. And I see card 28 here. So we may have some people that are 28 years old. We may have some people that are 33 with the 2 3s here, 28 and 33. Okay. And, you know, sometimes we like talk to a lot of people, or we get to know different people, or we express different things to people because we're yearning for something, or we're hoping for something, and we're doing everything we can to kind of fulfill that, or we're using our sexuality in a way that makes us feel powerful, okay? And hey, we've all been there. I'm not trying to come down on you, pile number one, not at all right? But I just want to be straight up with you here. Carnelian is associated with the second chakra and corresponds with sexuality. Okay, I also feel some of you here have been denying your sexuality and have just been, nose to the grindstone with the Three of Pentacles, or you've been, I'm just going to focus my energy elsewhere. I'm not going to focus my energy on blah, blah, blah. Okay, but some of you could really be hoping for that call, or for someone to reach out to you. And even though you have all these successes, or you have all these things going on, you still feel like you're yearning for something here. Okay, and carnelian is associated with the second chakra, which corresponds with sexuality, pleasure, and desire. It balances sexuality and can help people heal from sexual abuse and trauma. Pile number one, I'm so sorry for those of you that have been through that. Carnelian promotes a great sense of self-worth. Yeah, we have self-esteem here, and then we have this downcast pride, and we're talking about, sexuality and carnelian promoting a greater sense of self-worth and confidence, okay? Strength and deservability. The second chakra is associated with the womb area, and as such, carnelian stimulates both procreation and artistic creativity. Okay, and the affirmation here is, I honor my body and embrace my sexuality. I allow myself to have pleasure and enjoyment. Okay, so some of you may not be allowing yourself to have the pleasure and enjoyment and the comfort with the fourth house, in the sense of belonging, in the sense of, being in a grounded, exciting situation where you feel like things are growing, okay? And I do think some of you here with consciousness and downcast pride are, like, you've become more aware, I think, over time about how you really feel. I don't think I'm telling you anything that you don't know already. Pile number one. I also think for those of you that have been talking to other people but waiting for someone else to call, or some of you here may also be kind of like stringing someone along and you don't really like them. You actually, still have a thing for someone else. I also feel like, that's why this question here, does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? Okay. And some of you may have some questions around that regarding your self-esteem and your sexuality as well. All right. But I think pile number one, I think you're very fierce, and I think you're very good at the things that you set out to do. And I do think that underneath it all, you're actually a person who's very grounded and seeks comfort and seeks stability. All right, so yeah, let's see what else we have here. We have the deer. Okay, so deer it's also earth energy. It's represented by the earth element in this deck. And deers are wonderful, but you have to be you have to be pretty calm and centered and balanced and grounded. Otherwise, they run away, And I do feel like you guys are looking for something tender, balanced, and grounded. I feel like you're looking for something that you could really grow with someone. I feel like whether that's at work or whether it is, and in a relationship. And I feel like you guys really do want to be treated in a sweet, loving manner, okay? Because the Three of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles are very industrious types of cards. It's like, I'm going to prove myself in the game of life, and I'm going to, win at it. And that's awesome. But I also feel like there's this softer side to you, pile number one, that you may have been neglecting, or this softer side of you that is really seeking, also, you know, seeking that validation. I also feel like some of you would really like to hear from someone that you, because look at how big the ears are on the deer here. I feel like you guys would really, really like to hear from someone. And this deer looks more like a llama or something to me than a deer, but I'm also seeing someone with a mustache here. So there may be somebody that that has a mustache, or somebody that is a little bit more hairy, or someone that you're waiting to talk to, or you're waiting for this person to kind of reappear, okay? And I feel like there's a lot of heart chakra energy around the deer here too, okay? And you know, I just got something too as well, pile number one. I feel like, you know, it's like, I just want to be loved. I don't really want to be, you know, talking to different people. I really want to be comfortable. I really want to feel grounded with what I'm doing. You know, maybe to other people, having a lot of options or having a lot of things is cool, but actually to me, I prefer to be around something that's more stable and grounded, where there's actually potential with the Three of Wands to move something forward, and you know, and to build something with the Three of Pentacles and to really grow, okay? So for some of you, it may just be the thing that you don't want to hear but need to know is that, you know, sometimes we do things that aren't essential, that aren't that emotionally fulfilling, but we try to tell ourselves that it is, as a way to kind of as a way to sort of pacify self-esteem, or to make ourselves feel better about something. But you know, with the fourth house here, like this very deep feeling that something is missing, and we have this incompleteness here, and this hope that if we just wait a little bit longer, you know, what we're seeking is going to come to us, okay? So that's interesting, pile number one. We have success here. Okay, so this is also about your success in the world and your success as a person, okay? And self-esteem, sometimes we build our self-esteem around our success, and, you know, make our self-esteem about our success in work or what we're doing in life. And sometimes when we take a hit in that area, it can make us feel like very vulnerable, and it can make us feel very unsettled, and it can make us feel very like incomplete as well, okay? So we have success here, and you know, thinking about what true success really means to you, pile number one. And it says here, success that's true belongs to me, success with honor and integrity. Okay, and you know, with the Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands, and Three of Pentacles, that really, you know, success with honor and integrity is right there for you. It is right there for you. And some of you may have been holding back a little bit when it comes to success because your self-esteem took a hit, because you were struggling with your self-esteem, okay? Or you were struggling with self-worth or confidence or deservability, or believing that you really deserve the good things that are coming to you, pile number one, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and see. So we have self-esteem. So you know what's interesting is I feel like your self-esteem is tied to your sexuality and tied to your success a little bit, okay? And if those things, if you feel disrespected in those areas, I can see where you'd want to withdraw, or I can see where you might not, you may feel like running off, you know? And so let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and see. It says here, that you possess gifts of the soul that benefit yourself and others. Okay? And yes, you do. I think you are very successful. And I think you're also very cute as well, pile number 1. And so some people may wonder, like, looking at you, how could you feel less than? Or how could you feel like you're not good enough, or that you don't deserve good things in your life? And some of you, I'm going back to the sentence here about, abuse and trauma, or people who have gone through abuse and trauma. Okay. I think you're very resilient with the Page of Pentacles in the 4th house, pile number 1. I think you're very, very resilient, but I also think there's a very soft side to you that, wants that safe place to land. So let's go ahead here and see for my pile number 1s, what don't you want to hear but need to know? What else does pile number 1 need to know about this, please? What else? Okay. Oh, 3 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. All right. So like I said, working, doing, overcoming, you're very good at that. Pile number 1, you're very resilient, but some of you may be working hard through a broken heart and still trying to grow what you're doing, even though you've been in pain. Yeah, here's the Queen of Wands, and I was seeing her on the bottom of the deck earlier, okay? And I feel like what you don't want to hear, but what you need to know is that you're a very powerful, confident person underneath, and I feel like, with the 2 of Swords, it can really, here's pile number 1. I feel like some of you have been taking less than what you're worth in relationships, okay? Some of you may be very successful. You may be working really hard towards your goals, okay? But I also feel like some of you have suffered some very disappointing setbacks when it comes to your love life, or when it comes to relationships, or even friendships. And I feel like some of you here with the 2 of Swords, you don't want anyone to see, how this has affected you, okay? Because you're very strong, pile number 1, with this Queen of Wands. You're very, very strong. And I feel like you don't want people to know that underneath it, sometimes you're unsure of yourselves, or sometimes you're, or sometimes you just don't know, or sometimes you don't believe in yourself, or sometimes you don't always feel like the best about yourself, okay? And although I feel like life has demanded this very tough response from you, that you be very strong, and that you take a leadership role in situations, and that, you don't back down from what you want. But I feel like sometimes when it comes to your relationships, whether that's friendships, whether that's romantic relationships, you may turn a blind eye to some things, or you may take less than what you deserve because you maybe don't want to see how you've been hurt or how you've been wounded. So I feel like some of you could go and talk to anyone, with this talking and love call. I feel like some of you aren't really short of suitors, and some of you may get a lot of attention with the Queen of Wands. But I also feel like with the 2 of Swords, it's not really from the person that you want or the people that you want, okay? And some of it may be because that attention makes you feel powerful, and also with the sexuality with the Queen of Wands, sometimes it can be hard to admit that, we're being very, we're putting up a front a little bit, because we don't want anybody to see how much maybe we do struggle, or see how much, we actually have suffered, okay? And we keep that part of ourselves very separate from the way people see us or the way people view us, okay? And I feel like some of you have done that, put up that shield and have done that because of the past, because of the Three of Swords, because of things that have really created a lot of pain, okay? And I think on one hand, pile number one, like your confidence and your demeanor and the way that you are is like really sexy. It's really inspiring. It's really strong, but I also just feel like there's some unmet, I feel like there's something you're yearning for with this Two of Swords. There's something incomplete. You may have conquered many mountains with the Queen of Wands here, but there is still something incomplete or something that you're yearning for, okay? And it's amazing. Like in some areas of our life, we can be really, really self-confident. And in other areas, we can feel like our self-esteem is lacking or our self-esteem is suffering, okay? So I think what Spirit is saying here for you, pile number one, is to take a deeper look at those areas of your life to identify like how your self-esteem, your sexuality, and your view of success, like how do these things fulfill an emotional need for you, and how is it making you feel powerful in a good way or in a not so good way? And is there any bad habits that need to stop around your self-esteem or sexuality as a result? Okay, so pile number one, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading made sense for you. Sorry, it took me a minute to kind of get into it. Sometimes it just does. Sometimes it be that way. Okay, pile number one. But thank you so much. I hope that reading resonated for you, and take care, my friends. Let's move on to pile number two. Okay. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the red tea light, and today's reading is called What You Don't Want to Hear, But You Need to Know. All right, my pile number two. So we are going to go ahead and get into it, my lovelies. And let's go ahead and do a quick shuffle here. Just got this new deck, pile number two, so it's nice and fancy and ready to roll. Let's go ahead and see what you don't want to hear but need to know, please, for pile number two. Okay. I just heard something about a lump of coal. Like somebody, because I just heard something about charcoal. So somebody could have been like, I know that there's a type of incense that like burns, like is like a charcoal and it burns. I know people use like charcoal toothpaste, and some people even use it in their hair, don't they? Pile number two, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know all those cool like beauty tricks, but also this whole like lump of coal thing. Have you been a bad girl or boy? Pile number two. You gonna get a lump of coal from Santa this year? Let's see what else here for pile number two. Okay, I just heard penguins and quack quack. I feel like somebody could have thought that penguins make like a quacking sound, or got them confused with ducks when they were younger, or maybe there was a conversation about that. Pile number two. Anything else? Okay, I just heard something about the grass being greener, or someone talking about the grass being greener. I also feel like somebody like looking very closely at the grass or staring at the grass. Also, somebody could be trying to roll one up and is looking, because I feel like somebody's looking very closely at something green. Okay, but pile number two, trying to measure something out. But, you know, roll one up, 420 status. Let's go ahead, pile number two, and see what you don't want to hear but need to know for my pile number twos. Ever the scientist, aren't you, pile number two? So we have here the 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. All right. I'm already getting an energy, pile number two, of like somebody's family. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people are like, I don't care if my family is proud of me or not. I don't care what they think of me. Like, fuck them, you know. But I feel like for some of you, even if you felt like that or you were like that at various times in your life, underneath it, I feel like some of you really do care about what your family thinks or what your ancestors think about you, or, you know, like what your ancestors who've already passed would have to say about you. Because pile number 2, I'm getting a vibe from you that you're kind of a rebel at times, or you may do things differently than other people in your family or in your ancestors, lineage. And I feel like, I feel like your ancestors would be very interested to sit down and have a cup of tea with you. Okay, pile number 2, just so you know. And some of you may actually really kind of care about what others think or say, or you might actually care about what certain people think or say, but maybe you don't really show that or want to admit that. Let's see. We have the Hierophant here. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. And we have the Page of Cups. Okay. So, there is this sense with the Hierophant and Queen of Pentacles. Okay, pile number 2. There's a couple things going on here. All right. First thing, number 1. Some of you may have, some of you may be in a long-term relationship or a long-term commitment, or you may be very dedicated to something, okay? Whether you're very dedicated to a person, or you've been very dedicated to a calling, or you've put a lot of energy into something that is very traditional and something that requires a certain level of adherence from you, pile number 2, okay? Adherence to the rules. I mentioned you guys were like rule breakers underneath it, which is very interesting that I said that earlier. But I also think for some of you here too, there is this sense of having not really belonged, like, doing what you have to do to fit in somewhere, whether it's at school, whether it's at, work, whether it's somewhere, and I feel like you guys can play the game, pile number 2, but I also just feel like there is something that, something that if you would have done it when you were younger, you might have been happier. There might have been somebody that you would have really wanted to be with, or some of you could have gotten married to someone, or gotten, had a kid with someone, or gotten into a long-term connection or marriage or something with someone here, but there's somebody else that's always been on your mind, or there's somebody else that has always, like, you wonder if this person has thought about you, okay? I'm also getting government. So some of you could work, in some type of government, type of a position, or some of you may have had a very conservative family that worked in government or worked in politics, or some of you could have had a family member that worked for a very wealthy family, is another thing that I'm getting as well too, okay? I'm also getting like Mexican heritage or Latina, okay? But somebody could have had a family member that worked for a very wealthy family, or some of you could have come from families that were quite traditional. I still think you're different. I still think there's an oddball or different kind of quality to you, pile number 2, but some of you may have kind of really pushed it down or really kind of buried it out of obligation and duty. Okay, pile number 2. And I feel like some of you here may want to have another child, or some of you here may have felt forced to have a child, and your heart just really isn't in the whole motherhood or fatherhood thing, okay? So I'm seeing like multiple things here, pile number 2. It's a general reading, all right? And I think I'm kind of getting thoughts that maybe you've had throughout your life. I'm also getting an energy of somebody who had to commit to something early on, but if they had it differently, they would have liked to have been with someone else, okay? And some of you it may be a very inconvenient realization to realize, like, ultimately, like, if I would have done things differently, or if things could have happened differently, I might have picked this other person. I might have picked this other thing. Okay. And somebody here could also, like I said, be really wanting another child or wants a child. All right. And is instead, you know, working or doing other things. But at the same time is feeling kind of empty or dissatisfied. All right. It's not that it's bad. It's not that your life is bad. It's not that it's wrong. It's not anything like that. I feel like some of you may think about a different path that you could have chosen or a different thing you could have done. Now, let's go ahead and see. I also feel some of you still think about a person from your past too. All right. We have Chiron and healing here. Okay. And some of you are very wise. I feel pile number 1. And with the Hierophant and Chiron, some of you are healers. You could be in a healing industry where you do some type of massage, or you do Reiki, or you do something with, you know, herbalism or natural medicine, or you do something like that. I also feel like some of you have a very creative side, okay? A very, very creative side as well. And here's something else I'm getting is, you know, you guys really loving someone or caring about someone, but that person, I'm getting somebody here who could have been an addict, okay? I'm just getting that, so I have to say it. Whether it was you in the past, pile number 2, and you've healed from that and grown from that, or whether that was someone in your past that you really loved and cared about that, you know, had some problems with addiction, okay? But just, you know, how much you have, like, you know, how much you've grown, pile number 2 is really showing up here. But I also just have to say, you're not responsible for everyone's healing, and you're not responsible for, like, you know, if you're a parent then and your kids are young, then yeah, you know, you got to be responsible for that. But you know, and if you've made commitments to certain things like marriages, etc., then, you know, there's a certain level of duty and obligation with that, of course, pile number 2. But I also just feel like anything beyond that really is like, you know, anything beyond that where you're kind of being forced to take care of things because the other person isn't really like stepping it up or isn't really doing what they should be doing. I feel like that's wrong, pile number 2. And I also feel like you are an amazing healer, but you may attract people who really need your healing, and sometimes they may suck your energy, pile number 2 is just what I'm going to say here so far. We have mystery here. Okay. I also feel like there's something here that says some of you are doing what you love, or quote unquote what you thought you'd love. But I also feel like some of you are like, I'm not completely happy, or there's something missing. Okay. Also, I feel like some of you have whatever you need materially here. Queen of Pentacles and Hierophant. Taurus, Capricorn energy. Very, you know, stable, enduring, you know, providing the framework, providing the foundation for things, okay? But I also just feel like if you have what you need, that's cool. But also there is this unexpressed, unlived part of you, okay? And some of you may feel like, you know, when you got better and when you healed yourself, you lost some of your creativity, or you lost some of your intuition with the Page of Cups over here. That, you know, ever since you decided to put yourself on more of a straight and narrow path, you feel like you maybe have missed out, or that you lost some of the things that you had before. Okay, we have manipulative here. Let go of wanting to exert power over someone or a situation. Do you need to work on your self-esteem? Okay. All right. Manipulative. Okay. And that's coming out on this Page of Cups. So I do feel like there have been people in your life, pile number 2, that have wanted to exert power over you or power over the situation. And for some of you, that could have been a family member. It could family members in general. It could be lovers. I do feel like some people have tried to be manipulative towards you. And I do think you guys are healers, okay? But there is something about manipulation and exerting power, and somebody needing to work on their self-esteem. Now, some of you may also have a manipulative side within yourself as well, where you would like to have control, because the Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles are definitely cards that tend to have more control over things, okay? And, you know, sometimes maybe by picking people to be with, or, you know, whatever, that you have been able to have the upper hand in these connections because you're the healer, or you're the one that's going to come in and fix things and stabilize things and make things better, okay? So, you know, there may be a part of you that at times you feel is emotionally young, or also can be manipulative too. All right. And so that's interesting, pile number 2. I had a moment with my boyfriend the other day, and I was like, let's tell each other like our worst qualities, what we think our worst qualities are. We had fun with it. I mean, I really got into mine on a level that I've never got into before. You know, I think sometimes in your 40s, you really start to see yourself for who you are, and see your see the sides of yourself that aren't always, you know, the best at times, you know. And manipulation can certainly come from a place of wanting some type of power or control, because a lot of times when we're younger, I feel when you guys were younger, maybe you didn't have a lot of power or control with the Page of Cups here. But I also feel some of you learned from a younger age maybe how to get what you want, using some manipulation or using some tactics to kind of get what you want. But some of you may have been forced to do that because of the environment that you grew up in, okay? But we have here paradise, happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, and enjoying each other. Yeah, some of you guys are still, you know, thinking about, you know, another time and another place and another situation where you were having a damn good time with somebody, and maybe it wasn't the best thing for you. And as you've matured, or as you know, and we're always maturing, whether we're 55 or 25, it doesn't matter. As you've matured, as you've grown, you figured out, you know, hey, with this Chiron and Hierophant, hey, now that I'm older and wiser, this isn't the best thing for me. Although it's easy for me to go into these feelings of expansion and joy and all of this, and I want to just, you know, fall back into things at certain times. It may not be the best thing for me, okay? We have here Girl with the Snake. Oh boy, oh boy. And for some of you here with this Page of Cups, you know, with the big old smile on their face, hey baby, hey. And it just reminds me of that Gwen Stefani song, hey baby, hey. All right. But anyway, manipulative, okay? And Girl with a Snake. So here we have it, pile number 2. We have the empath and narcissist paradigm, okay? So you guys have definitely, you know, with the Page of Cups in Paradise, we could definitely have some love bombing, or we could have, you know, some intense, you know, situations. And I feel like some of you are like, damn, it's a mystery to me while I still think about this person because they were horrible, okay? We have Girl with the Snake, empath, narcissist paradigm, being charmed or used, okay, enabling, and boundaries, okay? And especially when we talk about addiction or codependency or those types of things, there can definitely be an issue with boundaries and enabling and, you know, this type of thing, okay? And I feel like you guys are saying, yeah, but I know better. And you do, pile number 2. You really, really do, okay? And some of you may be like, why do I continually let these situations manipulate me? Because I know better. And I understand things with the Hierophant. Like, I know things. All right. And here you are with a snake, a manipulative snake. And maybe there still is, this part of yourself that you're still discovering. Pile number 2 with this mystery, you're still discovering, like, internally, what needs to be healed within you, and also what is, internally your truth, I feel like, okay? So some of you, even though the wiser, better part of you knows, like, no, I should not entertain this situation. Like, it's not what I should be doing. There is a part of you that still, still thinks about this, or still is into this in some way, or still feels this calling to, and it may not even be a particular person, it may be a particular type. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 2? A particular type of person who is manipulative, who's charming, who is selfish, who may charm the pants off anybody. The Page of Cups could certainly charm the pants off of somebody, and then you're left standing there with no pants going, what happened to me over here? Okay, and so, with the Hierophant and healing with Chiron, we really are having to form some firm boundaries around, our healing, our growth, and our self-worth, okay? We have El Shaddai here, the radiant Lord, El Shaddai. We have wisdom. Yeah, wisdom. Definitely. I've been mentioning wisdom this whole time. We have paternalism, wisdom, and kindness, okay? And some of you here may have been, tormented by the masculine, or tormented by, or from my masculines here, you may have been tormented by this feeling of paternalism, that you should take care of someone, that you should be kind and loving and healing. And for my females here, some of you may have had a very challenging and difficult father who you could never really live up to, okay? Or this sense of paternalism, like patriarchy, or this sense of having to play a role or fill a role, no questions asked, okay? But very interesting, El Shaddai, the radiant Lord, and when we're in our full radiance, I feel like you guys are very radiant. And with that Hierophant energy and Chiron and healing and Queen of Pentacles, you are very wise, and you are very kind with the Queen of Pentacles here, okay? And you are very kind with the Page of Cups, like opening your heart up and healing and being there for people. And being with you is like paradise. But, I also think, like I said, you guys have attracted your share of manipulative, narcissistic type partners. And I also feel like sometimes, like I said, there may be a part of you that can get a little manipulative too, and not to say that you're one of those people, because you're not, pile number 2, you're really not, but we all have areas within ourselves, and self truly can be a mystery, right? And why two people are drawn to each other like a magnet when they happen to be so different, It's interesting, isn't it? Look at these two. They look like twins here. We have number 32. Somebody here could be around that age. Okay, we also have the 8 here, so we could have 38 or 32. It says today for tomorrow. So making good decisions for myself today, even though they hurt, even though they're hard, even though sometimes I know I should be mad, I know I should be this or that, but I know I should be mad, I know I should be upset, but my older self is grabbing, wanting to grab my younger self and pull my younger self along, but my younger self sometimes takes over and wants me to go back to my old habits and my old things, okay? So I feel like there's this inner struggle that sometimes happens within. And I do feel like there's two people here. One is older and one is younger, but they look like the same person, right? So again, with this, Page of Cups and Queen of Pentacles, like the older you versus the younger you. And some of you, when you were younger, I feel like maybe you saw your life going a different way, or you saw things, or you were so full of hope, or you were so, young, dumb, and full of cum, whatever you want to say, pile number 2, but Page of Cups, you were so into whatever was going on, okay? And, sometimes we get old. I know, pile number 2, I'm in my 40s. Sometimes we get old, and it's like, what the hell happened here? I used to be so full of love and hope, and now I'm just this crabby lady or guy, okay? So I think, there's also this thing for you guys are making choices today for a more secure tomorrow for yourself, but I also think there's something within you that isn't that happy with that. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 2? I think you do. We have perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to, okay? And that's wisdom as well, okay? I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And for some of you that are needing to release manipulative, love bombing, energies that charm and use you and, exert a hypnotic influence over you and all of this, there really is a message here. The Queen of Pentacles and the Hierophant is very much like a grounded message of perseverance. And the Hierophant, and talking about persevering with our spiritual beliefs and our core values of what it means to be you or I in the world. What does it mean to be you in the world? And what do you need to preserve about your life so you don't go back to something? You know what I'm saying, pile number 2? And I think you already understand these lessons of perseverance. Sometimes perseverance is good in the sense that it keeps us moving towards more grounded, stable results for ourselves. And sometimes it's bad in the sense that we can keep going and going and going in a situation that isn't great for us. You know what I'm saying, pile number 2? So thinking about your relationship to perseverance, we have Leopoldite and Serenity. Leopoldite contains lithium, which is often used to treat people with bipolar disorder or depressive mood swings or depression in general. Leopoldite is a great emotional balancer. Leopoldite calms the nerves and helps release anxiety, worry, and stress. Okay, so maybe some of you guys are needing a little bit of support, and the Hierophant is also the counselor in the tarot. So maybe some of you are wanting to seek, wise counsel or seek advice on things, okay? And there is a need for emotional balancing. We have, Leopoldite is a great emotional balancer and calms the nerves and helps release anxiety, worry, and stress, okay? Pile number 2, and it is a stone for serenity, meditation, and spiritual purification. Tucked under the pillow, it can help with insomnia. Okay, so some of you here may be dealing with insomnia as well. And the affirmation here is, I choose to feel calm, balanced, and serene no matter what is going on around me. Okay, no matter who this fool is trying to, be gone, all right? No matter who this person is, or for those of you that have dealt with people that have been really toxic, sometimes it's hard when we get out of those situations because we've been sacrificing what we want for so long, right? We've been enabling, we've been feeling used, we feel like boundaries are an issue. And, there's a lot of, what's crazy, pile number 2, is that when you leave situations like that, there's still so much healing, with Chiron here, there's still so much wisdom and healing and growth that has to come after that too, and I feel like Spirit is saying, give yourself a chance to breathe, okay? Give yourself a chance to really go deep into that spiritual purification. Give yourself that chance to really know yourself. And it's for like a better tomorrow for you. I feel pile number 2. We have the wolf here. Wow, I just did a reading on the wolf called Hungry Like the Wolf, okay? And wolves are very intelligent, and you know, you can say somebody's a lone wolf. Wolves tend to travel in packs, but there is something here. Maybe some of you have been feeling this deep darkness settling in over the winter and have been feeling kind of like a lone wolf, okay? And I also feel like there are some people in our life who bring out this very instinctual response. Do you know what I'm saying? They just trigger a very instinctual response where we become like super hungry for something that isn't there sometimes, you know, pile number 2. But I also feel like you guys are very intelligent and very wise, and some of you may have a wolf as a animal totem or a spirit guardian that is walking with you right now, and some of you may be feeling quite alone, and it is a time, I feel, to invest in your spirituality. It is a time to invest in your healing, and it is a time to basically, sometimes in life we do have to walk alone, you know, and you know, I know it's not always easy, pile number 2, but I feel like you're very, very strong and you're very wise and you persevere, okay? You really, really persevere through situations, okay? So, I mean, like I said, perseverance can be good and bad. It can be good in the sense that we don't give up on ourselves, okay? And that we can take a licking and keep on ticking, the Hierophant, right? But it also can be bad in the sense that we can take a licking and keep on ticking, and we can keep going in situations, you know? So I feel like this wolf energy, it's 9/11 in your reading right now, pile number 2. I feel like this wolf showing up here is a sign that you're protected as well, okay? And we have here, safe home. Wow. Okay, so Spirit really wanting you guys to, and for those of you, like I said, this paternalism, this growing up in a home, growing up with people that maybe where you didn't feel safe, okay? Or for those of you that lived with a person that was very abusive, or a person that caused a lot of, you know, a lot of issues, a lot of like emotional distress, okay? Spirit is wanting you guys to embrace this safe home, okay? And admitting to yourself, and you know what you don't want to hear, but you need to know, is that you do need a stable, safe home for yourself, pile number 2, okay? Free from manipulation, free from people using you, free from, you know, the empath narcissist dynamic, free from, you know, emotional stresses and nerves always being shot, okay? There's this sense of, with the wolf, like, I want to be safe and protected and feel safe in my own space and home, okay? It says, I cast this circle round about. Safety now is beyond a doubt, okay? Safety now is beyond doubt, okay? So you're safe. I feel like this wolf energy here is like you're safe, you're protected, you will persevere, okay? And the work that you're doing today is for tomorrow, in the sense that things are gonna get better, okay, pile number 2? So that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated for you, and I hope it brings you some clarity, especially during these winter months, okay? Thank you so much, pile number 2, and take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay. All right. Okay. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the yellow tea light, and today's reading is called What You Don't Want to Hear, But You Need to Know. Okay, my darlings, and I don't know why I just got something about the circus, or maybe somebody took a family member to that, or somebody has memories of that from childhood, but I also feel like clowns or going to the circus, something like that, pile number 3, okay? And also something about honey. Maybe some of you are having a bit of honey in your tea, or you're using honey as a natural sweetener and things. okay? Or somebody calls you honey, pile number 3, honey bunnies, and pile number 3. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see what else for my pile number 3. Any other channel? Okay, I just heard something about being like in stereo. So some of you may be listening to music, or you may be a musician. Uh-oh, the 5 of Swords just popped out. Okay. It's always weird when you can sense that people are talking about you, even though like maybe you can't hear them. I feel some of you maybe even could have overheard a conversation where somebody was talking shit about someone else. It's always weird when you're in public and you like hear in the distance like people talking shit about another person that isn't there. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, social dynamics, okay? Some of you could have actually heard somebody saying something and you're wondering like, should I tell that person? I heard this person say this and I'm wondering. Or also I feel like some of you here are just like, I don't want any drama. I'm keeping my mouth shut, okay? Maybe there's been some drama in your friend group or at school or work, but pile number 3, or family too. Pile number 3, let's go ahead and get into it. What you don't want to hear, but you need to know. You're like, I'm keeping my nose clean over here, Natalie. I'm not going to say or do anything. Okay. Anyway, probably a smart choice, pile number 3. We just had that full moon in Gemini and it was a doozy, but let's go. It's with Mars, retrograde, square Neptune. Tough one. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. Okay, 8 of Cups. Yeah, no thanks. I don't need any drama. I don't need any, like, you know, I'm just going to go on my merry old way. And I don't, you know, no drama. As Mary J. Blige would say, no more drama. All right, so pile number 3, let's go ahead and see. We have the Ace of Cups. Oh my goodness. We have the 4 of Cups. Okay, pile number 3. We have the Page of Wands. Wow. Pile number 3. You know, what's interesting is I feel like for some of you, there may be somebody interested in you, or there may be somebody that is knocking on heaven's door, which is pile number 3's door. Okay. And I feel like some of you are just not very trusting of the situation, or you're just not sure about it. Okay, I also feel like sometimes I'm twirling my hair right now. I have no idea why. I haven't done that in any of the readings. Maybe some of you wear pigtails and twirl your hair or something. I don't know. But anyway, pile number 3. I feel like you guys are, it's like you want love, but you're also a little bit on and off, okay? And I do feel like there's somebody that's interested in you. I feel like sometimes you guys, it's not just with love. I feel like sometimes you really start off like really liking something or being really into it, okay? Like the Ace of Cups, gonna make you sweat, all right? Gonna make you wet, gonna make you sweat. The Ace of Cups. But there comes a time when you guys are, I don't know. Like up front, I feel you guys are like, yeah, I could do this. And then, you know, the date comes around, the day when you're supposed to go out, the day when you're supposed to do something, the date comes around and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I feel like it, okay? I'm just going to make up an excuse and leave, 8 of Cups, okay? And then the next day you're like, oh shit, I actually should have done that. I'm trying to have fun, okay? I'm trying to do something. And I feel like, you know, you guys have been a little on and off lately, and you may be giving a bit of mixed signals to people, honestly. And I feel like some of you may be trying to, I don't know why I just had a silly little laugh there, but I feel like some of you may also be trying to do like manifestation rituals or trying to work on your manifestation. But I also feel like you're a very hard target. I feel like even your guides are like, what's up, you know, and wondering like, you know, what is it that you actually want, or where do you want to actually put your energy? And because one day it's this and one day it's that. And, You know, I feel like sometimes lately you guys have been very restless with the Page of Wands. Okay, it's like, yeah, I like it, but I'm sort of like, I like it for a minute, then I'm not inspired, then I'm moving on. And I feel like some of you could also be feeling kind of creatively restless as well, or just restless about different things in your life. And I honestly feel like there could be somebody who's interested in you, pile number 3, but I feel like some of you are giving like, you know, you're giving off weird smoke signals over here, pile number 3, or you're just I also feel like sometimes people are interested in you, but the person that you're interested in isn't interested in you. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 3? There may be some emotional unavailability, or there may be some emotional kind of game playing going on a little bit here, pile number 3. But it's like, okay, you know, this person likes me, or this situation is opening up for me, but then I'm like, no, I actually want this thing over here. Or, yeah, that person likes me, but I'm not into it. And, you know, hashtag greedy much. No, I'm just kidding, pile number 3. I'm just kidding, my friends. But I feel like there is something like, you know, your heart wants something deeper, pile number 3. But I'm being very laissez-faire in your reading because I feel like some of you guys are having kind of a laissez-faire attitude about things. But I feel like your heart does want something deeper, and you want to feel excited about something, and you want to feel jazzed about something, and you want to feel, you know, like sexy and fun, Page of Wands and flirty. But I also just feel like, you know, you're like, yeah, I feel that way for like 5 seconds and then I don't anymore. And you're like, you know, it's like you're Cinderella and the clock struck midnight and it's like, I gotta go, you know? But anyway, pile number 3, let's see what else we have here. We have the 8th house, and we have endings and beginnings, okay? And I feel like you guys are saying, you know, Natalie, every day I'm shuffling around here. Every day I'm shuffling. Because just as soon as something starts or I like something, it disappears. It's gone. It ends. It's not, you know, for me. All right. And the truth is, the 8th house in astrology is also a house of anxiety. And some of you may actually have some anxiety about opening up your heart with the Ace of Cups here, because, you know, and you may sometimes have a tendency to chase after people who could be unavailable, and then someone actually who might be good for you likes you, but you don't like it. You know, pile number 3, I'm just going down this highway with you right now, all right? And some of you could be avoidant of, you know, pursuing what you really, really want because you went through some, you know, because you got shut down in the past, okay? And to me, this is like, some of you could have also gotten shot down in other areas of your life too. And you're like, I'm just going to train myself to want less then. Fine. But anyway, pile number 3, it's interesting because I feel some of you could have been very creative, artistic children, or had a lot of energy with the Page of Wands, and you really just wanted to be noticed or loved. But I feel like some people in your family here with this 4 of Cups and the Moon in Cancer and the 8th house here, some of you could have had, you know, you could have felt like a burden to your family or to your parents, or you could have felt like they didn't really notice you, or you were trying to do things to kind of get their attention, and you just felt like, damn, you know, what do I got to do to kind of like, you know, to get some love? Like, I start to open up my heart, and then boom, the door closes on me. And yeah, some of you could just, I feel like, you know, I feel some of you are attracted to somebody, and there is somebody you want to talk to, or there is somebody that you're very interested in, but you're afraid, you know, you're a little afraid of getting hurt, or of losing, you know, something. Or, you know, sometimes people in life, pile number 3, treat other people like they're just like throwaway. You know what I mean? Like they're no big deal, like they mean nothing. And maybe some of you were made to feel that way at times, or made to feel like your contribution wasn't important, or you know, what you were giving in a situation wasn't good enough or wasn't important, or, you know, that type of thing, pile number 3. So I just want to, you know, yeah, we have frustration here with the 4 of Cups. So it's like, you know, why can't me and this person get on the same page? Why can't this situation, you know, why can't this situation be different? Okay. And I do feel like some of you are, here's what I'm going to say though, pile number 3. I don't want you guys to miss out, okay? And I think Spirit's giving you a gentle nudge with this Page of Wands and saying, like, you know, it's a big world out there. It's a big, exciting world out there. But if you're hyper focused on one thing, then, you know, then it's hard to kind of see what else could be out there in the world, okay? And some of you have just been very frustrated because, like I said, you know, square peg, round hole. You know, the people that want you, you don't really want them. But the people that you want, it's like, you know, where are they? We have here unworthy, okay? So think deeply and ask yourself why you are not worthy of the situation at hand, okay? And yeah, this is very interesting. And I mentioned, you know, at times maybe feeling ignored, or at times, you know, the people that you want, it's like they don't want you, right? And how like emotional unavailability may figure into that, but unworthy. Think deeply and ask yourself why you are not worthy of the situation at hand. So, you know, with the Page of Wands clearly wants something. So Spirit is really asking you guys, if you're shutting yourself down with the Ace of Cups in the 8th house out of fear or anxiety, if you're shutting yourself down and settling for less than you could have with the 4 of Cups and this frustration card, then I also feel like Spirit is asking you to, you know, and some of you may not feel like thinking deeply. It says think deeply and ask yourself why you are not worthy of a situation at hand. The truth is that you are. And, you know, I mean, but this whole thinking deeply may be part of the frustration too. It's like, why can't something just be good? Or why can't something just be? Why do I always gotta, why do things have to be so hard? I feel like some of you guys are asking here too. We have wedding rings. Wow. Okay. So we have the Ace of Cups with the 8th house and wedding rings. Union, wedding, married, soul connection, eternal flame, everlasting promise. Okay. So something that you really, really hoped for when it came to love. Some of you could have really hoped that you were going to end up with someone, or that you were going to marry someone or be with someone. That person could have chosen to be with someone else or ended something, okay? But we have a wedding here or a union that should have happened, but with the 8th house, it didn't happen, okay? I'm sorry, pile number 3. I'm really sorry, my loves. We have here separation, yeah. Sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, and unsure of the future, okay? So it's like, you know, I'm frustrated and upset here because this didn't turn out with the 4 of Cups. This didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. We have wedding rings and separation, okay? So somebody could have decided to be with someone else here, okay? But I feel some of you guys still really miss this person, or you still really are struggling with this situation, okay? Pile number 3, and it's okay. It's all right. You know, I feel you guys, there is this part of you with the Page of Wands, like you can't keep a good girl or a good guy down forever. You know, there's this part of you that can definitely rise up, you know, and come back from this. But I also just feel like maybe some of you have also been wallowing a bit here too, or have been kind of wallowing in things. Now, if this just happened, then by all means, wallow. But I feel like with this 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, like something already, like there could have been situations with this pile number 3 where things ended and you walked away and then they came back, or somebody reached out to someone, or there was some hope again and then it was, you know, in the trash again with the 8th house. Okay, so I feel like for some of you with this 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, yeah, there's the revival with the Ace of Wands and the huge hopes. And there's the Hangman, nothing's happening. Okay, there's some communication, it sucks. There's the 9 of Wands and the 5 of Swords, all right? Like, you know, there's the new hope. There's, you know, it's just this whole, you know, when's it going to change? This, and that, okay? But I feel like you guys in the past, you already recognized, yeah, this is like, you know, this is already come to pass, okay? And like I said, if this was recent, then I understand, you know, take time. And even if it wasn't recent, take your time and mourn and grieve and work through your feelings about it, okay? But I also just feel like pile number 3, don't cut yourself off from life in general, you know, over this, okay? So let's see what else we have here. We have Ereshkigal, Gal, the Queen of the Shadows, wrath, instability, and suspicion. And that is the 8th house of anxiety, okay? So some of you could really, like, you know, what's interesting is, you know, you feel there's this sense of sadness and frustration about a separation here. But what you don't want to hear but need to know, pile number 3, is that with this Ereshkigal Gal here, Queen of Shadows, you know, there may be a part of you that is, you know, very pissed or very mad or very, you know, very vengeful about something that happened here. And hey, you know what? I'm not afraid of that energy. I'm not a love and light reader. I'm a reality reader. So, you know, if you feel pissed, then feel pissed, pile number 3. But I also do feel like, you know, we have suspicion on this card. So I do feel like there is sometimes, like, you know, when you guys get involved in things, there's this very like suspicious thing. You may question the other person's motives. You may question what's going on with them. You may think that they're fucking around or screwing around. You may think with the 8th house and wedding rings that they're cheating. You may think that, you know, and I don't know, pile number 3, maybe somebody was. And, you know, it's like you are sad and frustrated about this, but I also feel like there is a side of you, it's like, well, I love this Ace of Cups and I want it to happen, but it's bringing out really intense emotions in me. And some of you may feel very betrayed by this connection or by this situation, okay? And underneath it, there, you know, there may be, and I feel like some of you guys, you may have a hard time really, like getting in touch with that. I feel like with the 4 of Cups and the frustration and the separation, okay? But here's the thing I want to ask you, pile number 3, okay? Here's what I want to ask you. Even if this situation did come back, would you be able to trust this person, okay? Because I feel like, you know, you are sad about missing someone. You are sad about, frustrated emotionally about a situation that didn't really work out like you wanted it to, okay? But I feel like with this suspicion here in this 8th house, is there always going to be a part of you when it comes to this situation that doesn't fully like trust it because of something that was a betrayal, okay? And, you know, sometimes it's not even cheating, it's just, sometimes it is, okay? With wedding rings in the 8th house, sometimes it is, but also sometimes it's just a sneaking suspicion that this person never really planned to follow through, okay? And, you know, I feel like you guys don't want any drama. So with this 8 of Cups and the 4, like you don't want that. But I also feel like there is a part of you that is pissed, you know, or is angry about lies that were told or things that were said, okay? And some of you may wonder, like, did I have the wrong idea about this connection in the first place? Okay. I mean, with the Ace of Cups and wedding rings, I don't really think so. I mean, my question is how fully developed was this entire thing? So I do have a question about that, pile number 3, but at the same time, I do think there's something going on here. Ace of Cups and wedding rings, okay? There is something, some energy here. We have perchance to dream, okay? So this whole thing of like, what's that song? Don't something, the dream is gone, or don't leave, or don't go, the dream is gone, or something like that anyway. But we have perchance to dream, okay? So it's like, if I could, as Cher would say, if I could turn back time, right? And find a way, I'd take back those words that hurt you and we'd stay, right? If we could reach the stars, I'd give it all to you. Okay, I'm getting that energy, pile number 3. And I feel like some of you are still, holding on with the 4 of Cups, and you're still thinking about this situation and you're unsure, like maybe something could still come of it, okay? But I also feel like there is a part of you that feels betrayed, okay? So we need to balance that out a little bit, and I feel acknowledge that part of you too. All right, we have here abundance. Wow. Yeah, Page of Wands. Look at you, Master Manifestor over here. I am a limitless being, okay? This is you, Page of Wands. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality, okay? So this is just saying that you're a very magnetic, attractive person with the Page of Wands, pile number 3. And, I feel like this situation has kind of ate you up inside and brought a lot of sadness, frustration, upset. And I feel like Spirit is saying, and I feel like you guys already know this, like it is time to turn your attention and affection in another direction. And you can have better for yourself, I feel, pile number 3, okay? We have inner strength, absolutely. Tree agate and inner strength. When you see a big tree, think about its history, okay? And I love the big tree on the 4 of Cups. When you see a big tree, think about its history. Despite living through all the types of harsh weather, ups, downs, etc., it has grown tall and sturdy and stable. The tree agate fortifies you with the inner strength during times of adversity. Yeah, emotional adversity, okay? Sadness, anger, pile number 3 for sure. Facing challenges helps you grow and gives you the opportunity to become a stronger person. Health-wise, tree agate enhances the immune system and helps fight infection, okay? And I do feel like this situation with the 8th house, very anxiety producing, very upsetting, very, like weakening, I feel, especially with the 8 of Cups, very weakening, okay? But I feel like, here's the Page of Wands, building up vitality, building up strength again, okay? So health-wise, tree agate enhances the immune system and helps fight infection. Affirmation: during tough times, I have what it takes to remain calm, steady, and strong. Yes, you do. Pile number 3. Yes, you do. Okay? Reminding you of that inner strength, that abundance that you have within. Okay? We have, the eagle. I had a feeling the eagle was going to come up. Okay? And, I love the eagle because the eagle doesn't waste any time. The eagle really sees things for what it is. And eagles are very smart and discerning as an animal totem. Eagles, of course, are very rare and are birds of prey. At least I think they're pretty rare. I can't say I've seen a ton of them in my whole life. I remember one time I was hiking, I want to say it was in Arizona, and I saw a huge one. I think it was really huge, as I recall, if it was an eagle. I think it was. But anyway, eagles are, side note, eagles are, very, very intimidating, very sharp and intimidating too. okay? And it goes along with this Ereshkigal gal, Queen of the Shadows, wrath and suspicion, okay? Eagle is also, you know, the higher spiritual form of Scorpio, okay? So some of you in pile number 3, like you have a strong, brilliant inner radiance and inner strength that lives within. You guys also have a healthy libido, or, you know, a healthy libido is wanting to come back into your world, okay, with the Page of Wands, okay? But it has to do with kind of putting yourself out there and doing unexpected things and taking a little bit more risks and getting out of the house and, you know, not wallowing and things like that. But Eagle Vision gives us the ability to quickly surmise what's happening in a situation, to just look at it and know, okay? And the thing about it is, pile number 3, is I think you can see your situation for what it is. And because you're not, I mean, I think you get it. And I think your higher self is like, oh yeah, you get it for sure. And eagle also represents air. So it's this very innately intelligent force that moves us to see and to know. And also, I feel like to trust. And I feel like that could be something that, you know, trusting something takes a lot of inner strength. It really does, especially if you've been disappointed or betrayed in the past. And, you know, knowing who to trust, knowing the right people to kind of like trust. And, you know, we can all have those moments where people really shock us and it's like, whoa, I had, you know, I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of us. But I feel like you guys are very intuitive and you're very sharp. And if you haven't been feeling that way lately because you felt underwater because of your emotions, I feel like Spirit is saying, you know, rise up into that eagle spirit and see things for what they really truly are and pull back emotionally. There may be a certain level of emotional detachment that needs to like happen in order for you to really kind of pull back on this situation and really identify what's happening, okay? Or identifying like what your next move should be or how you should go about approaching this thing, okay? And I would also say, pile number 3, like think of one of the most shrewd people that you know, whether it's a relative, a friend, you know, somebody that is very uncompromising, very shrewd, and not always the most emotional, okay? Maybe that's you, but think about somebody like that in your life and think about how they would look at this situation, okay? Maybe some of you have someone like that in your life, like, you know, a father figure that was like that was very shrewd and very protective of you, a grandfather that was like that, a brother that was like that. Maybe some of you have a best friend that's like that, but you know, your most like, you know, shrewd friend who really, really gets it and really, really sees things for what they are. And maybe some of you need to kind of listen to that person too, you know, if they got something to say, you know, maybe you need to kind of like, woo, okay. But this eagle looks like, you know, looks like it could do either thing. It could either take flight or it could land, but it's going to do whatever is best, you know, for it at the end of the day, okay? So the inner strength and the power within to see things for what they really are, all right? And we have here, ooh, pile number 3, true love, come to me. Yeah, your pile is definitely about love, okay? And the other piles, a little bit here and there, but your pile is definitely about love, okay? True love, come to me. True love shall come to me. As I do will, so mote it be, okay? And I said that very strong for you guys. As I do will, so mote it be, okay? And, you know, the interesting other side of Ereshkigal is beautiful Persephone. I also think of it as like, you know, Venus and, you know, Venus's naughtier, you know, sister, Ereshkigal, okay? You know, there's both within you. You're both enchantress and seductress and seductor. but you have this very magnetic quality to you, pile number 3, okay? Like both live within you. I think you can be both, like sweet and caring and kind and loving and, dotting your little I's and T's or dotting your little I's with hearts. But I also feel like there's a fierce warrior within you, okay? And very Medusa type of energy, all right? And some of you may be a little bit afraid of letting that person show or letting that side of you show, so you kind of really push it down, all right? But I think that inner side, that inner, Lilith energy really needs to come out, pile number 3. And I also think it's activating for your libido, and it really pushes you out there, okay? And I think it actually like leads to more abundance in your love life, okay? Because if you stayed locked in these situations, you miss out on what else cool could happen, okay? So let me be that terse friend that tells you what's going on, all right, pile number 3. So, yeah, we have inner strength and abundance and true love. That's the direction that Spirit is wanting you to head, pile number 3, all right? I'm going to go ahead and get 2, not lucked up in this whole situation over here, because sometimes those things can be a real waste of time. If you're gonna if you gotta grieve and you gotta go through the waters and tread through the waters and the mud slowly and how it is. We've all been there. If you gotta, cry it out, pile number 3. And, but just don't let any situation really hold you down, because I feel like underneath it with the Page of Wands, you really are a free spirit. And, yeah, so you do need to play and you do need to have fun and you need to enjoy, I feel, pile number 3, okay? We can't stay locked up in our princess tower forever, pile number 3. So let's go ahead and see. Let's get 2 more. What's the advice here for pile number 3, please? What is the advice? Okay, we've got these 2. 6 of Wands and the Hermit. You couldn't really have 2 more opposite energies. I feel like you guys have been like the Hermit, or you have been very reticent. You see all the arrogant assholes that are out there. You see through people's, shells. You see through people's fakeness. You see through, I feel like you guys see through these energies very easily. And I feel a lot of you here have been on this very, deep inner journey with the Hermit, okay? But I also feel like Spirit is shining the light on the part of you that really deserves to be rewarded and deserves to see success and victory from your efforts, okay? And, I also feel like there's this side of you that is very, underneath it. You guys may have a side that can be very flamboyant or competitive or fun or a little bit of a risk taker. I feel pile number 3, but I feel like some of you have really been, holding back from that. And I feel like some situations have made you appear more bland than what you actually are. So I feel like there's this thing of needing to rediscover this inner fire within you, okay? And to discover this inner belief in self. And, a lot of people think pride is not spiritual, or they think, it's ego isn't spiritual. But I completely disagree with that. I think sometimes in life, we have to make contact with that part of ourselves, because we need to turn away from, caving in inwardly, and we need to push out into new territory. And sometimes in order to do that, we do need to call back that side to ourselves that is very like frisky and spicy or naughty, or is very much like the Queen of Shadows, or, you know, is very, I don't want to say like ego filled or pride filled, but is, you know, there's no other way really. I mean, I feel like it's okay. Like you guys are kind of refinding this part of yourself. And I know some of you here are quite spiritual and you don't need a whole bunch of validation from other people to kind of tell you who you are. I feel like some of you already discovered who you are a long time ago, or you're not a person who needs like tons of accolades from other people. And some of you may end up meeting people that have very big egos, or need a lot of validation, or need a lot of cheers from the adoring crowd, this type of thing. But I also feel like it's time for you guys to kind of get back in the saddle, and time for you guys to kind of rediscover the fire within. Okay, pile number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that today. I hope that that reading benefited you, and I hope that everyone enjoyed their reading today. Take care.